In this episode, we're going to take a look at the brand new Executor Super Star Destroyer for adults, and this is now the longest LEGO Star Wars set ever made. You won't believe how big this thing is. It does come with some minifigures, and there's a tiny little Easter egg hiding on top of it. I just got these early images in, so they're pretty much hot off the press, and I've got about a half a day to make this video, so here's everything that you need to know before you buy. Okay, this is our huge Ultimate Collector set for this fall. We did have one earlier in the year with the Mandalorian N1 Starfighter, which I did build over on my other channel, and that set was excellent. When I first saw these images, I remembered the small one from a while back, and I was wondering what that would look like at a large scale. And sure enough, it's kind of exactly what I imagined, but I still can't believe how big this thing is. And we'll get into it, but it's kind of mind-boggling. And I'm telling you right now, I don't even know where I would put this thing. And to tell you the truth, I don't know where most people would put it. Now, this is Darth Vader's personal flagship from the original movies, and putting it next to the actual thing, I can definitely see the resemblance here. It does look like the design is rather spot on, and there are a lot of different rooms and lights and areas worked into the hull, just as we see here. And when I did a little bit of research, I found out that the model that they filmed for the movies was roughly 9 feet long, so this LEGO version is about half the size of the one that they actually shot with, which is kind of wild for something that we can build and throw it on a ginormous table. And of course, we have to talk about the size because that's the story here. Now, this thing is roughly 4.5 feet long. The only set that I can really compare it to of this size would be the Titanic. I never did get a chance to pick that up because, I just don't have the room for it. That thing's massive. Side by side, the Titanic still looks bigger to me, I think just because it's taller and kind of meatier. But this one is right there with it, and next to a person you may not realize how long it is, and I think that's because it's so flat. But next to a chair, next to a couch, yeah, this thing is going to be massive without a doubt. This actually is not LEGO's first Super Star Destroyer. There was one back in 2011, and comparing the two, the newer version is definitely more detailed. We do get more bounty hunters included this time compared to last time as well, but we are missing the Admiral from this new version. So it would have been cool if they could have thrown him in there as well. That would have been great. So it's one of those situations where we gain some and then we lose some. That just kind of happens these days. And it is interesting to see it compared to the smaller one that can definitely fit a lot easier on your desk. We got that one not too long ago. It is already retired, but as you can see here, it is very cool to see it upscaled. The smaller version did include an additional Star Destroyer on the side, so it would have been nice, yet again, to have another one thrown into this package. From the top down, this is looking really good. I do like all the sharp angles, and I do see a lot of upside down pieces, so the building techniques might be pretty interesting. Along the outer edge, we do have those blue translucent pieces, probably showing, lights from the interior, and there's a few more up top. This is a mostly gray ship, so those do give you a little bit of a break from the tedium as you put this together. Those orange thrusters in the back, I think, are going to make the color pop just a little bit, especially if you have it up on display. It's actually cool to see this from this back angle. I think this looks excellent. And even the bottom is more detailed than I would have thought. It's actually finished underneath, except for that back piece area. It's not so much finished, but everything else here, I think, once again, it's looking pretty fantastic. The stand is where I've got a real question mark. The Venator ship that we had a long time ago did have issues with sagging. Because of its weight distribution over time, it would bow a little bit and start to sag. So my biggest concern here would be sagging more towards the back of this ship. But maybe that's why they went a little lighter on the pieces back here to maybe help with the weight distribution. Well, we're going to have to see. Although I don't think that the risk is as high compared to the Venator because that one was really heavy on the back end. But that's just something that we're not going to know until many weeks or even months after people have built it. And from what I can tell, the stand is built into the set itself, kind of like how the big T-Rex fossil skeleton has its stand built in as well. So I do kind of wonder if they are taking that same approach here. And as we can see here, there are 3 pillars underneath, so hopefully that does help with the stability. For a set this expensive, which we'll get to that here in a second, that's one of the first things that I'll be looking for when the reviews start coming out. I do like that it comes with a smaller Star Destroyer because it shows you the size of this massive Super Star Destroyer, and from what I understand, this smaller one is to scale with the larger one. It's also hiding that Easter egg from earlier. I mean, check this out. There's a tiny little Millennium Falcon on a very tiny piece. I actually noticed it like my second or third time looking through the images, and it's just something you would never spot unless someone pointed it out to you. The other bonus in the box is a diorama, and it's all the bounty hunters standing next to Darth Vader as we saw in the Empire Strikes Back scene. And I mean, this is pretty decent. If you're putting it up for display, you have a little scene next to this giant ship saying like, hey, this took place inside the Super Star Destroyer. But at the end of the day, this diorama does look very simple. It does have a smooth design. And, as a little bonus, I'm not going to say that it's wowing me. But since the ship is so large in scale, I mean, it's really challenging to have interiors, so I do get why they went this route. In terms of the minifigs, we do get Darth Vader and those 6 bounty hunters, and from what I understand, this is the first time that we get all of these bounty hunters together in one set. And this guy here has only been in one set ever, as far as I know, with my limited research, so it's cool to see him here. To me, Boba Fett is the standout here. I think his cape looks awesome. I do like the 2 different color tones on it, and the damage on his suit looks pretty good. I actually just built his large-scale action figure not too long ago, and I also recently built the slave one from a long time ago as well, so it is great to see him in here. The collector's edition nameplate is thankfully printed, and it looks excellent. I'm so glad that these are printed now. With these newer sets, a lot of people won't understand all the pain that we went through applying the stickers for those older nameplates. But one of the most important things, what is the build going to be like? And I think it's going to be a project to remember. This is the kind of set that you show off in your house and say, look at this thing. This thing took me weeks to build. Even though some of you speedrunners out there I know will get this thing done within hours. But for the average person, yeah, it could take weeks. Those Technic pieces are in there for the structures, so it looks like it's going to come together kind of scrappy looking for a little bit. But once those outer plates are attached, along with those translucent blue pieces, it really comes to life. Get your fingers ready though, because there's a lot of little pegs that can wear on them after a while. That's just the nature of Technic. And from what I can tell, we're in good shape when it comes to a sticker perspective. I don't see anything on here. I'm assuming that there aren't any, but that's going to be pending, so let's wait for the reviews to see for sure. But so far, I think this will be a very straightforward build. You will be dealing with a lot of gray pieces of different shapes and sizes, so there may be a little bit of tedium in there, but the techniques do look interesting. We are looking at over 6,000 pieces, and it's going to be about 20 inches wide, a little over 7.5 inches tall, and it's going to weigh more than 11 pounds. And of course, yeah, we are looking at 4.5 feet roughly in total length. It goes on sale on the 1st of October, and there's no doubt about it. It's expensive. It's $800. But we are talking about one of the largest sets ever made. The Titanic, just for comparison's sake, is $680 and about 9,000 pieces. But to give you a frame of reference, this one is 6,000 pieces, but it does have a lot of larger pieces, so it's kind of hard to compare. And last year's Death Star was $1,000, but that one did have a minifigure scale build where you're building scenes, and here you're building one really big ship. Now, that 2011 Super Star Destroyer was $400 back then, but with inflation, that's just under $590 in today's money for a set with about half the pieces. So the gap might not be as wide as it looks. This is all value stuff. It's really up to you. And during my very quick research, I couldn't find any high quality models ever made of the ship at this size from anything that's outside of LEGO. So it's kind of interesting that this is one of the biggest models that you can get of the ship. There's also a gift with purchase to keep an eye on, and this one actually makes sense because Darth Vader is in this set, but you can get a buildable version of his lightsaber with its own stand and nameplate. We're looking at under 200 pieces, and it's going to run from the 1st of October through the 10th, while supplies last, of course. Compared to the real thing, it does have the likeness there. All the details that I would look for at the scale seems to be included. But it's also a simple build, so you can probably piece this together yourself if you have the pieces for it. From what I recall, these usually sell out within hours and not days, so just a heads up if you do want to pick it up officially from LEGO. Now, personally, I'm not going to buy this one at launch. I honestly just don't have the space and I don't have the time for it. But if I do end up getting it, I'll have to make the time and I guess make up the space for it as well. But if you do like Lego Star Wars ships and you're looking for something huge to pick up, this could definitely be for you. You definitely need to make sure that you have the space though. I mean, it's huge. Let me know if this is what you were expecting from a Super Star Destroyer and what you would have liked to see differently. But anyways, as always, thanks for checking out the set with me, and until next time, I'll catch you in the next one.